have a different kind of lesson I thought may be interesting to post here. The other day at school, I was super impressed with an interaction I heard between a PE teacher and his students. As his class was warming up with a jog around the gym, he asked his students to give him reasons why PE is important. They were shouting back answers to him like it builds endurance and muscle development. He was obviously reviewing a lesson he had done with his class before. It got me thinking about my job as a music teacher and my students. I'm not sure what they would say if I asked them why music class is important. Anyway, I loved the exchange between the PE teacher and his class. I decided I wanted to make a lesson like his to do with my students. I had a lot of fun thinking, researching, and chatting with my wife about the subject. This is my 15th year of teaching. Turned out to be a nice time to review and summarize my thoughts about music education. I have reflected on this topic quite often over the years. My thoughts have changed a lot as the school years go by. There have been times when I thought music was absolutely critical to my students' education, and on the other hand, to be honest, there have been times when I doubted that my lessons have had any positive impact on my students at all. But thinking about this recently has reaffirmed to me that making music has so many great benefits for students. Anyway, I'm sharing this lesson here because I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on the subject, both teachers and students. What do you agree with? What did I miss from my list? I'll put a link to my slideshow in the description. Feel free to make a copy of it and make it your own. I put some links to sources on the last slide. There's some really good stuff there, great papers and articles, essays, etc. Anyway, here is the lesson. Making music develops A, attentive listening, B, it's good for your body and brain, C, builds character, and D, opens doors. All right, we'll talk about attentive listening first. And I should say also that a lot of people call this active listening. I like attentive listening a little bit better because I'm always trying to get my students to be still when they listen. And active listening, I think, it gives them mixed signals. Anyway, so that's why I chose attentive listening here. Being an attentive, active listener is the most important part of being a musician. I really think this is super important. Here's a quote. The idea is to put all your attention on the music and analyze its properties in real time. Damien Marie, PhD and neuroscientist. That's from one of the articles that I put the sources to. Making music develops active listening skills. Improving listening skills makes you a better musician, and then the cycle continues. Some of the best human creations in history are pieces of music. Listening attentively to this music can take your appreciation of it to astonishing levels. There's so much great music out there, of course. I want all my students to have the opportunity to hear it and to the best of their ability. And just because, as you know, music can really be so profound. And finally, being an attentive listener is essential for building good relationships in life. Listening seems to be kind of a lost art in a lot of ways, and I want students to be able to have good relationships and just be able to listen to their friends and listen to their teachers and listen to everything. All right, moving on. B, making music benefits the body and brain. Making music triggers the mesolimbic dopaminergic MLDA system in your brain. This is your brain's reward system. Making music releases neurotransmitter hormones called endorphins, which alleviate pain and stress. The release of endorphins triggers dopamine releases in the brain. Dopamine is known as the feel-good hormone. Making music also reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. So all these great benefits to your brain. Making music can increase respiratory health, for wind players, but breathing is such an important part of music, no matter what you're doing. Wind players, singers, every kind of instrumentalist too, we breathe. String players, of course, we talk a lot about breathing. It can also be good for fine motor skill development and can even be a cardio workout. And, music can get intense and we're moving a lot. Of course, it's a physical thing. All right, next. There is considerable evidence that learning to play a musical instrument and making music gives lifelong cognitive advantages in many areas. This is a fantastic article. They go through one after another benefits, cognitive benefits of making music. It's just fantastic. Math is the first one they talk about. Great article. I highly suggest checking that one out. All right, reports found that just 1 hour per week of active music listening was enough to significantly strengthen the brain's working memory, which is essential for learning, recall, emotion regulation, focus, attention, and other critical mental processes. This is from an article, Neuroimage, June 2023. So this article was about elderly people and music, but of course this applies to young people too. All right, moving along. C, making music builds character. I love this one. Basically, what I did for this one is as I was reading through and thinking, I just started making notes of words that popped up about character, and so I list them here. This is a great quote by Aristotle. Music has a power of forming the character and should therefore be introduced into education of the young. That's from Politics by Aristotle. Found a lot of good quotes about music, but I couldn't really track down, if they were really by those people. But this quote, you can see it right in Aristotle's Politics. All right, so here are a list of the words, and maybe you have some ones that you could add to the list if you can think of other things. So here's the list of character traits and skills developed in musicians: adaptability, bravery. I love that one. Commitment. Of course, you need commitment to play an instrument. Confidence. Isn't it great how music just builds confidence when the students learn a passage or they anyway, creativity, obviously, curiosity, dedication, discipline, empathy. Love that. Goal setting. We talk a lot about that in class. Grit. You got to have grit. Handling pressure. Concerts come to mind for that. How are you going to handle the pressure? Organization skills, overcoming challenges, passion for excellence. That applies to every aspect of life. I mean, every successful person, you have that passion and just striving to be better. Patience, perseverance, persistence, pride, resilience, self-esteem, real self-esteem, social skills, teamwork, time management. Finally, my thought, anyone brave enough to learn how to play an instrument can take on any challenge in life. You do have to be brave, and you do have to be tough, and it just builds that up in you, and you can do anything. All right, finally, D, making music opens doors. Music opens all kinds of doors. It opens doors to making lifelong relationships. Playing music with people bonds people together like nothing else. I met my wife playing in an orchestra together. Next, find the place where you belong. High school orchestra with Mrs. Howard was this place for me. Gosh, I have so many great memories from orchestra. I'm sure you have great memories from your ensembles, first ensembles that you played in. There's nothing like it. And I try to, hopefully my students too, at the ensembles here at school, hopefully they feel like they belong to. And I work hard to make sure there's not bullying, or make sure it's a peaceful, nice place for them to come. Travel the world, of course. As a musician, you can really take you all kinds of places. For me, music gigs have taken me to all kinds of great places around the world. Next door, learning a universal language. To me, it just means that the language of music crosses many cultures and divides. So if you can, you can meet another musician from any place, and you automatically have things in common, and that's really cool. Getting paid, of course, is great, and there's nothing like it. Getting a paycheck for making music, it's just awesome. Get paid to do what you love. So maybe it's gigs here and there, maybe it's a career. I'm very blessed to have made a career from making music and teaching music. Next, membership into the Musicians Club. Yeah, it's just like you're part of that team, and it's like camaraderie. I think of, I always kind of notice when motorcyclists pass each other on the road going opposite directions, they kind of wave at each other. That's kind of like that with musicians too. It's just this cool camaraderie. Being a musician makes you part of a very special fraternity. Of course, last but not least, music scholarships, and that's one that's talked about a lot. There's all kinds of music scholarships out there for music majors and for non-music majors, and that's just great. I mean, if you can get good at your instrument, you can save so much money at college. And I was a music major, and was very fortunate to get scholarships, and yeah, so that's just awesome. Um, okay, well, so that's the presentation. Check out the sources. There's so many good sources on the sixth page of the presentation. Just really good stuff. And yeah, before I finish, I want to mention one thing. You may have noticed that making music for fun is conspicuously missing from my presentation. I didn't include fun for a couple reasons. First, I think that every reason that I talked about for making music is intrinsically fun. So, fun is a byproduct of making music. Attentive listening is fun, building up your body and brain with music is fun, etc., etc. Yeah, it's fun. I don't think it's a primary reason to make music. So, and to me, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way to call music fun as a primary reason to do it. It is, of course, fun, yes, but it's so much more than that. And yeah, by the way, I think learning in general is fun. It often seems like fun and learning are thought of as mutually exclusive, but of course they're not. It's just fun to learn. Anyway, making music certainly is fun and joyful, and I'm eager to hear your thoughts on the subject. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. Bye bye.